Good morning out there, young world. The world is yours, and welcome to the Desire is Everything podcast. I'm one half of your host, Sam Wright.
I'm the second half, Jason Wright.
First of all, we want to say thank you to our media team for being here, Mr. Howard, Mr. Bass, and we have a very, very, very special guest in the house today. We have Coach Don Carlisle of the Ben Davis Giants. How you doing today, Coach?
Good morning, good people.
Coach, first of all, we want to start off by saying congratulations on winning another state championship for Ben Davis High School.
Appreciate that.
How many is that for Ben Davis?
It's 4 for Ben Davis. I've been a part of 3.
Listen here, y'all. Ben Davis has 4 state championships in Class 4A basketball. Well, it was the class, was it 4A?
No class. There was no class when I was in high school.
Y'all ended that, right?
We won it. Well, we won it the year before the last year. I think Pike got it. I think Pike got the last one, but I think that in 95 and 96, we went back to back. That was my sophomore and junior year in high school.
Wow.
My senior year, we got beat by Cathedral. There goes the start of that Cathedral rivalry for me. So, we were supposed to win the game. It happened. We got beat. They had a better plan than us. I thought that they executed a little bit better than we did, and we lost the game. But we should have went 3. We should have went 3 for 3.
That'd been crazy.
It would have been crazy.
So let's go back to that. Out of the 4 state championships Ben Davis has for boys basketball, you have 3 of them. 2 as a player, which is back-to-back, awesome. And then you have 1 as a coach, head coach.
And I have 1 runner-up.
Runner-up too.
I have 1 runner-up. So I think there's 2 runners-up. So I have 1 of the runners-up and 1 championship as a coach. And then we have 2 as players in 95 and 96.
Correct. And I also did a little research. You correct me if I'm wrong. You are the only male head coach that has won as a player and as a coach in boys basketball.
At his alma mater.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yes, correct.
Yeah, I'm the only one, man. I was kind of thinking about that. I was talking to my fiance about it last night. It's like, man, that's huge. Sometimes you kind of sit back and think, like, when it's happening, it's just kind of like, oh, man, we did it. But when you sit back and kind of think about the history and the stuff that we were able to accomplish this year, man, it's some huge stuff.
Indeed.
And being African American, man, I ain't, having an all black staff, like people don't understand that that's by design. I'm only the second head black coach of Ben Davis's history. And the first one, Curtis Wright, which is my guy.
I know Curtis.
Didn't have much success. You know what I mean? So like, if I don't have success, if I don't do this, then are they ever gonna hire another one? Are we gonna see other black coaches in the mix? Like in high profile jobs, especially around the city? Do we see those guys if they don't hire me and I have some success? So man, it's a lot of shoulders that I'm standing on. Man, I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of what we was able to accomplish. The coaches, let me tell you what happened with that. In 2019, when we went to a state championship, I didn't see anybody. As we continued to win, I didn't see anybody that looked like me. And it was crazy. One of the reporters, and when you go to a state championship, they sit you at a table, and all the reporters kind of gravitate around you. They come and talk to you and interview you. And one of the reporters asked me, "How does it feel to be the only black man in here?" I didn't think about it. I saw it and I noticed it. I have some mentors, straight up mentoring that I've been using since I became a head coach at Arlington High School. And I called him. I went to the bathroom and called him. I said, "Man, I ain't no black people in here. I'm talking about no workers, no ADs, no coaches." And I said, man, so when I left from that, it made me realize that, man, we really got to pull our people up. So I did what I could do. From that standpoint, there's also a couple things that we do as black coaches in the city where we talk. We have different Zoom meetings. It hasn't gotten off the ground. Maybe we can start to push it now where we start teaching. How do you become a good assistant coach? What does it take? What do your head coach need? What do you need to be a good head coach? And start teaching. So then, you know what I mean? Like Deion said, and Coach Prime, I listen and watch everything that he does. Coach. He said, man, you either get terminated or elevated. So God willing, I'm elevated at some point. I want another black man to come behind me.
Definitely.
So, but I don't want it just because it's the status quo. I want it to be because he's prepared, he's ready, and and we able to push the thing forward. I'm a program, a career Ben Davis. I'm a West Side guy. I grew up in the Hallville area, which is East District in Wayne Township.
We say there.
So they don't bust from Hallville anymore though. But where was I going with it? I grew up in Hallville, East District. There haven't been people that been like me to be able to do the things that I've been able to do. So I want to put a highlight on that, show the kids that there's a different way. I grew up in a situation, man, most of my family was in the streets.
Facts.
And they kept me out the streets by, here, man, here go $20, here go $100, man, don't do that. Man, go hoop. You hoop. You know, I was always honor roll. I always had good grades. So graduated the top 100 in Ben Davis. At that time we probably had 5,000 kids, and the graduating class was pretty big.
Congratulations.
So man, I went and got my master's when I was at Arlington to show our kids that a black man can go ahead and do that thing. And I think that's part of the reason why I was able to be hired at Ben Davis. They knew that I had some credential behind me.
Right.
I didn't have enough experience, like coaching experience, but I did have a lot of practical world experience to be able to come in. And like I said, I had my master's. I handled my business. So there's too many boxes to check yes, so they couldn't tell me no. So to God be the glory for that. And man, I just been grinding ever since.
Man, there's a lot to unpack in that, man. First of all, I have faith that you will do what you say you're going to do, mold a coach that can take over for you. Continued success with that program where you and the other coaches are helping bring other brothers along, because it's power in unity. The unity is so powerful, and our people don't do it enough, but we are doing it. So I'm glad you highlighted that. And then let's talk more about, what was it like being at Arlington, knowing you wanted to go back to Ben Davis, and then having to go to school and get your master's. What was that journey like?
Man, to be honest, when I was at Arlington, I'll even go back even further. I played professionally for 12 years. When I was finishing my degree, I ended up coming back to school and being a grad assistant and doing things of that nature to try to figure out what I was going to do once I got finished playing. My daughter was born in 2012, and I have a son who's 24, and I missed majority of his upbringing because I was playing. So I would come home in the summers. I would be gone for 10 months, come home in the summers. And, when you want to spoil him. So I think he missed a lot of what I had to give to him because I was doing what I had to do as a young man. But when I had my daughter, I decided that I was going to stop playing. And, God blessed me with a job on IUPUI staff, my alma mater, right away. I came home in May. I got hired in June, and I didn't look back. But then, unfortunately, we got fired 2 years later. I didn't really know what to do. So, I had my degree. I had my undergrad degree, but I had no experience at all working. I just always hooped. I hooped or coached. So once I got fired, I had to figure out what I was going to do. There's a lesson behind that one, too.
Come on now.
As a young black man, and man, make sure you have some stuff in place. One of my good friends, even to this day, man, told me, he was like, man, you should start teaching. When I was living in Paris, I lived in Paris for 8 years, and he was like, man, just teach. Because we really don't have practice at 8 o'clock at night every day. So we just hanging out, going out, spending money, having fun. But at the same time, I wasn't putting myself in position to win after I got finished playing. So he told me, man, you don't have to have your degree. As long as you have a certain amount of your degree finished, then you can go and start teaching. So that's what I did. I listened to him, man, and I went and started teaching conversational English at a school in Paris. And then I was hired as a head coach for basketball, for varsity for the boys, and I coached middle school girls at the International School of Paris. So that was really my entry into coaching. Never really wanted to be a teacher, never thought that this would be what I would be doing. When you're young, you think you're going to play forever.
Facts.
And thought I was going to the NBA. Had real good shots to do it. Was drafted into the G League, which was the D League at the time, in North Charleston, South Carolina. So I was there. There was a show I'm really comfortable behind this camera and under this mic.
Come on
because
now. You look like it.
Nah, you know what, man? It was crazy. It was a show called Down Low in the G League, in the D League at the time, and they followed us around, and we had to do interviews, and it was kind of like one of the first reality shows for sports. And I woke up in the morning, the camera was in my face, and I never forget. They told me, man, if you ever want, it was ESPN who did it. If you ever want to, after this, you transition. This would be a great transition for you because you natural in front of this. So, man, I was blessed to be able to go through all those situations, and that's kind of the stuff that I teach my boys now. But back to it, when I got fired, I was lost. I ended up getting hired as a special education assistant at Washington High School. Okay. The coach at the time, back in Hallville, right? So I went there, and when you're an assistant, you paid hourly. So anytime we had a break, anytime it was spring break, fall break, summer break, I didn't get paid. Right. So I was like, man, I gotta do something. I figured it out. So that's why I went back to school and got my master's and got my teaching license. Then I got hired at Arlington as a teacher and the head coach. My son was a senior at that time. I brought him over. The year before I went to Arlington, they had won 4 games. My first year at Arlington, we won 22, won the first sectional in 16 years at that school. Had a great basketball tradition at Arlington, but it went to at Arlington, it went to charter, back to IPS, man. There was no uniforms. There was no money in the program. So I had to learn. See, this is what people don't understand. It took me to have Arlington for me to get Ben Davis. It taught me how to build. It taught me how to move in spaces where I ain't have much support. Now, not like support as far as admin, that's the best support I've ever had is at Arlington. But as far as resources, I didn't have any. Parents didn't come. I met parents senior night, some parents senior night, So I didn't have that type of pressure of people telling me, well, your kids should play that. People feeling like they had an entryway to tell me how to do my job because they wasn't around. You know what I mean? But as soon as, Ben Davis is, when you elevate, you get different problems. And people think it's all sweet, but it's not sweet all the time.
Everybody's trying to star.
Everybody feel like they got a better idea of what to do than you do. And my rebuttal would be, at the start of this, when it was open, you could have took this job too. You know what I mean? Like, there's 2 things, right? Like, you had to be qualified, right? So, I had to go through the things that I had to go through to be qualified.
Come on now.
Right? And then you have to actually go there and get interviewed, and get the job. It's a process. So if you can't do those, you can't tell me how to do my job.
Not a thing.
Right? So, it's hard, man. It's hard to be able, because I'm a real family guy. I'm a real inclusive guy. I wanted everybody to be in, but I had to learn quickly, like sometimes, man, that thing don't work. It can't work that way. You got to kind of build some barriers, have some walls, and have some protocols when it comes to like people getting a hold of you and having access to you, because sometimes, man, it just don't work out. Don't work out the way you think it should. So that's kind of how it worked for me. I went from IUPUI getting fired. I was the youngest coach on staff, and all the rest of the coaches got jobs. It took me a while, right? Because I had been playing. I didn't really have experience. I only had 2 years experience as an assistant on a low 1. Still a Division I school, but it's a low 1. So I couldn't get another college job. So I came back to high school. So mine's a little untraditional as far as, most people go and work their way up through
the college ranks.
They go elementary, AAU, middle school, high school, then to college. I went backwards, right? I went from the top level down, and but really it gave me what I needed to be successful where I am. So Ben Davis is run like a college team. Everything that we do, I try to prepare those guys for what they're gonna see at the next level. So from how we prepare to how we go about eating, what we do, we do team camps in the summer. So I went to Purdue and IU, and I just kind of looked around and saw how, we got kids, right, that don't eat the right. The only time they really eat is if they at school, or they maybe eat, or if they eat at home, they're not eating the right stuff. So I had to I got a refrigerator.
Okay.
And I stock it weekly with protein shakes, protein bars, because I saw this stuff at the next level, Big Ten, right?
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, so if we able to do it, then why can't we do it? And why wouldn't we do it? So those are the type of things that I started to bring. You look good, you play good. So now we get new stuff every year. I've been at Ben Davis for 5 years. We had new uniforms, 4 of them.
Okay.
So when it's a lot of people that talk so much that they don't know anything about how this thing works, man. And we talked about unity, and man, that's what I'm about. But there's so much hate around the city that I just don't understand.
Now. I
just don't understand it. But then you know what? As I pray about it and I stay grounded in what I believe in, man, I really just believe hate is just misplaced love. Because don't nobody hate on nothing that ain't above them, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't really secretly if you wasn't envious of what I was doing, then you wouldn't have anything to say,
worry about,
right? If I'm under you, then why would you talk about me? So,
facts.
It's misplaced love. So I that's how I approach it now. It used to be really important for me to be accepted and loved by people around me, but now I don't care, man. As long as I know I'm doing the right things, impacting lives. I'm doing the right things for the kids, and I keep myself and my faith above everything else, and I know I'm gonna get it right. So, even throughout, it's a process. You know what I mean? Like, I brought Fellowship of Christian Athletes into the Ben Davis program.
Okay.
We have Bible studies once a week with the players. I have a Fellowship of Christian Athletes rep within the building. He's my mentor. Sometimes the adults need him more than the kids.
Shout him out. Who's that? Who was speaking?
Dennis Goins.
Okay.
Dennis Goins over
at
Ben Davis, man. He does a great job with the kids and the adults. Anytime I have anything to talk about, he's the first person that I talk to.
Indeed.
So, and he's a black man in the building, right? So it's not many of us.
Facts.
So in the midst of all of that, he can give me game on all the stuff and how I need to move in a certain way. And I'm real appreciative of him, love and appreciation to him, because, man, it's hard. It's hard, trying to move in ways that make sense when you out in front all the time too.
Heavy as the head, then where's the crown?
Exactly. So,
you a king.
In the midst of all of that, I'm still grateful. You know what I mean?
Yes.
God's blessed me in ways, man. I'm engaged now. I got engaged this year, Aquarius.
Congratulations.
My fiance Aquarius, man. 23's been my year. Testimony time.
Jordan year.
Testimony time, man. Last year, my sister's an evangelist, and we talk and we fast and we pray. And last year, God showed me us winning. We lost it. I couldn't understand what's going on. I ain't understand. I wasn't ready. You know what I mean? I still wasn't doing. I ain't perfect, but I'm a lot better. You know what I mean? And I wasn't doing things the right way.
Alignment
wise, and even being a mentor and the coach of these guys, man, there's certain things that I had to correct. Being in alignment with my lady, right? Doing stuff the right way. So last year I wasn't ready. So what God did, what DJ Collins said, God did. What God did is make me undefeated. Right?
Come on, man.
He gave me a championship.
Come on, man.
I don't know who is the other black all-star coach ever in history. You know what I mean? I'm the first to ever do it. We broke so many records. There's never been a team that won 33 games and been undefeated in the season.
Congrats.
There's some teams. One other team won 34. They won 34-1 in maybe the 20s. Pike went undefeated and won the championship.
I was at Pike
31-32. And Warren Central in 2018 won the championship, and they won 32 games. So it's the first ever Hall of Fame championship in Ben Davis history.
Wow.
We had not won the Marion County championship since '95.
That don't even sound right.
Exactly. We had it last year. We was up 20 on North Central, but like I said, it wasn't the time, right? So we was able to get that this year. We won the MIC championship. Of course, we were undefeated in that. That was my first one. undefeated, 76-2 as a program. JB had 2 losses. 2 of those are really close games. Freshman undefeated, varsity undefeated. So man, there's been so many things and blessings that came my way in 23. And I'm gonna keep doing my thing, keep doing the right thing, man. Keep myself aligned so I can keep, you know me, reaping all these seeds that we've been sowing in the ground. So it's been great. My team, man, I'm really super proud and ecstatic for my staff. Man, I have a great staff of brothers.
Shout them out.
My freshman coaches are Michael Ray, who's been at Ben Davis for 6 years. So he was there before I got there, and he's one of the ones I kept over. So Michael Ray, they went undefeated. His assistant is Phil Brown. Dominique Ingram was a volunteer assistant here, in and out kind of, but his name, he needs to be shouted out. My JV coaches, Kevin Butler and Virgil Akers, who I played with in high school. Kevin Butler, man, he whooped my butt when I was at Arlington, man. He was at, I can't ever remember the school. It was a charter school on the east side. Whooped us, man. We were undefeated and playing in this tournament, and I didn't know who he was. He didn't know who I was, but he had a few dogs on the team.
Did he?
That was the year, my first year at Arlington, when we won sectional and went to the regional championship. But he whooped us, man. Beat me by 20, man. So ever since then, like I was like, if I ever have a job, man, I'm gonna go find that brother. So he came, and he's my JV head coach. Courtney James, who I played with at 95, is one of my head varsity assistants, and Corey Taylor. Fred Long is also one of my IUPUI brethren. He came on this year, man. He's a great guy. Kids love him. He keeps the coaches together, man. He's one of those sounding boards, brothers that is not gonna have a bad thing to say. He always keeps things light, and he know the game, right? He played football professionally, and he played basketball at IUPUI right after I left. So really strong staff, man. Strong staff of teachers and developers. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be able to have those brothers around me. A couple years ago, I started doing brother check-ins on Sundays, man, just to, 1 to 10, how you doing mentally?
That's needed.
Physically.
Yes.
And those brothers, man, they bought in. It's hard to be vulnerable around your brothers and men,
sir.
right? So
especially as black men.
As black men. So we do that once a week. We talk to each other, man. We lift each other up. So I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed to be able to have some brothers even open to be that vulnerable around each other.
Facts.
So
it was great to see y'all win, and we have some ties with some of your players and their families. I've known the Win. I moved here in 2001. I've known the Wyndham since I moved here. I've known the Murph family since I moved here. I'm trying to think, is somebody else on your team that I know? But like I said, to see y'all bring it home this year, man, was very eye-opening. I mean, it made my heart filled with joy. The only pain was seeing when the South Bend's own get taken out by y'all at Newcastle. I don't know if you remember when I talked in the parking lot after the game. I was there to see, of course, y'all, and see Marcus Burton play, because we're from South Bend originally. But man, I was very impressed with y'all's strategy. And I told you that in the parking lot, like, I know you might not have been as high on y'all win as I was, but I was like, man, to see y'all strategy and the way your players played, I was very impressed with that. So what are some of your philosophies as far as coaching goes?
Man, I'm a defensive guy. I always believe that you win with one more stop, not one more shot. So that's what I teach. If you come to one of my practices, man, majority is going to be working on defense. So we start that now. There's a lot of times that we can't have a basketball, so we just work on conditioning or defense. I believe you have to play in the stance and stay in the stance. So we do a lot of that. And we teach it the right way, man. If I teach no middle, baseline rotation. So that's the way I was taught. And I played at Ben Davis for Steve Whitty, who was a great coach that I learned a great deal from, especially defensively. I know there's a lot of different ways that you can do things that have success. A lot of colleges, especially a lot of the schools that had success in the tournament in college, play a lot of pack line and force it middle.
Mm-hmm.
Keep their bigs in, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like, it all depends on the players that I have as well, too. So, next year, I think we'll have to play a little bit different. Just because we don't have the same rim protection that we had.
Big Zane.
And rebounding. So we'll play faster. But that's who I am. Like, certainly there's things that we did this year that are me. But I would have wanted to press the entire game.
Ooh. Come on, man.
32 minutes.
I don't get it why more people don't do it.
Yeah.
Especially when you have the speed to do it.
My thing is, if you deep and you bought in, play as hard as you can till you can't play no more. Get a break and then come back in and do it again. What I teach is take the ball from them, score, put it back in their chest, and do it again.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Pressure bust pipes.
It does. And I think people saw that with us this year.
Who wants to be picked up the full court
Nobody.
for 40 minutes? Nobody does. 32 minutes.
Man, I played basketball my whole life, and I hated gnats.
Come on.
I hated God gnats like but fly always on you, man. Back up, man. Why you playing so hard in practice? We had those type of guys. Sean Arnold, number 32. Great guy to have on your team. One of them guys you ain't want to play against. You probably wanted to punch him, kind of like Rodman. Man, that kid played so hard. I've never been around a kid that played harder than him.
I love it.
Play harder than him. So I had to shout him out, man. Sean Arnold, man. He was the key to us. If people thought it was Zane and Sheridan, Sean Arnold was the key to Ben Davis. If he wasn't playing hard and playing well, then we probably struggled. Now, offensively, it was probably Zane and Sheridan. Like, if those guys had it going, then we were looking pretty good on offense. But defensively and what got our team going, I thought that Sheridan was a key cog because the point guard is a point of attack. Picking the ball up the full court. So I always told Sheridan, man, it's you. He couldn't understand it most of the time. Like, it ain't my... Yes, it is. It's your energy, right? And how you able to change the game without scoring or even throwing an assist is making sure this dude is uncomfortable so he can't get them comfortable.
Right.
And he was able to do that majority of the time. He and Mark Zachary, man. He's not talked about enough, and I don't know why his recruitment hasn't picked up. Probably because he has like 14 Division I football offers. And people kind of scared but he wants to play basketball. And he's a great basketball player, man. I could see him being a national recruit for football and basketball before it's all over with. So jump on board. If anybody see this and need a dynamic point guard who's athletic, will play defense, and do whatever you ask him. Great coachable kid, great family. Do whatever you ask him to do. I love Mark Zachary. And I'm fortunate enough to have him for another 2 years.
Come on, man. Stacked,
man. Just stacked. Next year, KJ and Mark Whiter seniors, man. But I think you can expect more of the same from us, man. Tavion Williams is a sophomore, man, that over the last half of the season, Clark Williams is his dad, who played at Ben Davis, who was a super athlete. His mom is a T. So, man, he has great basketball pedigree, family. Man, he dunked everything now.
Yeah.
Block shots. I just got to put 30 on him.
Okay.
If I get 30 on him, he's gonna be he's gonna be an all-star.
Well, son over here lift little weights, so if you need somebody, get him there. Shout out to the White family too, Mark White and Big D, man. There's some brothers of mine out there as well.
Man.
Yeah, come see me at Major Sports Performance. That's where we train at. We train a whole bunch of athletes. So if you want to, like you said, put on that weight, come see us.
Yeah,
Major Sports Performance, man. I'll make sure I get your
how much weight have you picked up since you started lifting?
I started lifting, I want to say around 20. I started lifting after I graduated in around 2021. I was around 160 that summer, and then right now I'm trying to get over that 180, that 180 hill. So that's where I'm at right now. So around 20 pounds is what I picked up over the last 2 years.
And who else you got coming out the woodworks?
Man, Justin Parks, man, he's another sophomore. Those two bigs, man, they different, but they different is more modern big, right? They both can run, jump, and shoot. Well, JP can't jump that way.
Not yet.
He can handle, he can shoot it, and he's real crafty. So, but Tavion, man, watch what I tell you. The kid Tavion Williams will be the next great big to come out of there, man. That kid. Like I said, I think they were 21-2. It's a great season.
Yeah.
It seems bad because everybody else is undefeated, but man, everybody take a 2-loss season.
Come on now.
But he did a great job, man. He just got to, like I said, like there's certain things that help kids make a jump, and I believe that's the weight room and just consistency. Man, you got to be an everyday guy. And what that means is, man, our gym is open every morning. Before preseason, a lot of it is with us. Like we bring them in every morning, and we have individual workouts with them. But throughout the season, when it becomes your choice, you got to be an everyday guy. Like that's hard though. You know, we start class at 8:30, so that means you're gonna have to probably be there at 6:30 to get a decent workout and get yourself ready before school starts. So, man, not a 2-day-a-week guy, but an everyday guy.
No days off.
If he becomes that, man, he got a shot. He got a real chance. And he's in that same class with Mark Zachary. So, Justin Parks, and there's another kid, Jameer Avery, man, that can really score the ball. We got to get him a little bit more defensive because I'm a defensive coach, but he can really score the ball, man. He can really score the ball, man. I'm high on this group. The freshmen coming up, Robbie Reddick, Markeith Drain, and TJ Minor, man, those 3 kids, they could have played JV or varsity this year. I just wanted to, I kind of wanted to keep the group together.
Right,
honestly.
Makes sense.
Like this group that just leaving out. That I kind of kept that group together. Sheridan and Clay played freshman their whole freshman year. Zane and Jesse, because we needed bigs, we moved them up. Jesse Ferris, who was kind of the lost one out the group, he was on everybody's board as a freshman and sophomore because he started 4 games for me as a freshman. Then Sheridan moved up and started and played in a tournament, but the rest of those guys, Sean Arnold, he didn't play varsity to his junior year. He played all freshmen. He didn't move up. His sophomore year, he played all JV. And then he started his junior and senior year. So he's just one of those kids, man, that just kept working. And we saw him, kept moving, kept getting better. Then he took some people's spots. And that's one thing about me, man. I'm consistent. If you work hard, I'm going to give you a shot. We know we lost some kids that went and transferred out. But they wanted a free pass, me to say that you going to get this spot. And I never say it.
Right.
So people watching this, you better earn it. But if you good enough, I'll play a freshman. You know what I mean? Like they know it.
I came out of South Bend in '94, and our head coach prior to I think my senior year was a guy by the name of Steve Austin. St. Joe, we came down here in '93 and got our butts kicked by Jeffersonville. That's when they had Sharon Wilkerson.
They beat us too.
Blew us out the gym. My boy Chris Quinn, though, he held it down. Chris Quinn was a beast. I think he still ended up with close to 30, but he just didn't have enough help against Sharon and them. But Steve Austin had a philosophy where he didn't put juniors on JV. I'm not familiar with the years and everybody on your roster. Do you have juniors on JV?
I put them on JV, but my thing is I'm not putting a junior on JV to just play JV, right? I believe that kids learn on the court. So no reason for me to have you sitting on varsity and not playing when you could be playing on JV. So seniors, I only had one senior ever to play JV, and that was Jaden Brewer. When he came over from Avon, and they deemed him ineligible when he couldn't play. So he played JV, and he
they learned from that.
It was not fair what he was doing.
Is that who you went to school with?
Yeah, I played with him and went to school when he went to Avon because I went to Avon my freshman year. So.
Yeah, it was not fair. He was doing crazy stuff on JV. And, but you know, it's a kid. He wants to play. It's his senior year. He transferred over. He had always been a Ben Davis kid. Yeah. Going out of district to Avon, but then when he come back to his district, they wouldn't release him. So he played. I don't play seniors on JV. I'll just. It's a problem because you build relationships with kids, right? And sometimes you gotta let them go. I had to do some of that this year. Some kids that I really liked, and some blowback from it. But hey, man, like, can't get participation trophies to everybody, man. It's only in so many spots. And if you want to, my first year in 2019, we had 9 seniors. Then the next year, even though we had seniors, none of them really played varsity. So I had to like switch my mentality to make sure that the younger guys were getting reps.
Right.
And even if they don't play, they got to get reps. And if I got all these seniors that's not playing, they taking the reps from the young guys. So we had to make some tough decisions on some guys that probably could have and should have made it, but they wanted to play the whole bunch. And some of those decisions go with, could you sit and not play and be a good teammate? So it's a lot to go into building a team, deciding who plays and who don't play. Because I had 9 kids that probably would have started on any other team in the MIC this year. Even Murph. You talk about Murph. Murph destroyed them in practice, but man, his attitude and his family, man, that's why I big him up.
Great family.
Great family, great kid, never complained, came to practice and went hard every day. Killed them in practice. That was his job, though. In his mind, his job was to kill them, to get them ready for the game. Kill them in practice every day.
He got a ring out of it.
He got a ring, and he's a great kid, man.
Yes.
And everybody couldn't have did that. You know what I mean? So we had a great group of kids, man, selfless, that had love for each other. It didn't always, it was some work in between there. It's not saying that we didn't have any problems and everybody was great, but for the most part, man, it was really good. Those kids had love for each other, and like in my meetings before the season, I always talk about moving in love, right? So like, if I got love for my brother over here, I ain't gonna care when he kill. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give him the ball so he can kill because I got love for him. But if I'm hating, right, and that's what you see, and I just try to say, man, even with the parents, man, if we move out of love, then everything's gonna take care of itself. And I teach we over me, and team success trumps individual success every single time, man. And I know it to be true. My senior year, I averaged 12 points, right? But we won, and I committed verbally to IU. You know what I mean? So like, and this is what I teach these guys. Like, listen, man, you win, and you win on a high level for a long time, then the coaches value winning. So like, man, team success, and you talked about the Wyndham, man. Jalen Wyndham wasn't an all-star until we made it to the state championship game, and he had a great run.
Didn't he?
He had a great run that year.
Didn't he?
And I had to, hey man, team success. So you keep winning, you keep doing. Now you're gonna have to still do what you do. You still gonna have to be Jalen, right? But we gotta win.
Facts.
So when that happened, and he was able to be an all-star, DeJuan was gonna be an all-star regardless. He was the biggest dude in the world in high school, and he was the most dominant dude. So like, it was no way he wasn't gonna make it. But Jalen had to work his way onto that team. Same thing with KJ this year. KJ was a starter. He'd been a starter kind of since he'd been at Ben Davis. And once he got hurt, it hurt him.
Yeah.
He never really got back to he did, but like not to the KJ that we all know. But he was the best cheerleader on the bench, man. He was hyped for his guys. Love, right? So he could have easily, man, I ain't messing with y'all, shoot a whole bunch of bad shots, soaked on the bench. But he didn't, man. And I was so proud of him for that. And we were able to get him on the junior all-star team. So
congratulations, KJ.
That's another win for team, right? His stats went down. He didn't have a great year, but he was on a great team, undefeated team, and he was a big piece of that. Regardless if he started or he didn't, he still played meaningful minutes.
Facts.
And he was one of the guys that we leaned on. So I'm proud of him for that. I know he's gonna have a great summer and a great senior year. So that's another great story of a guy that. Clay Butler, man. Mark Zachary started the last 10 games last year over Clay.
Right.
Now, he didn't like it. I'm not sitting here and saying that he was like, man, coach, please start him. He didn't like it, but what he did, Clay's the hardest working kid. that I've been around. He's an everyday kid. He's coming to work. He's coming to shoot every morning. He's coming to get workouts every morning. And that's why he had the type of year that he had. He's one of the kids that I hate didn't get enough notoriety this year. He and Sean Arnold, man. Clay should have been an all-star. There's an unwritten rule where you can't have 3. So
it's always something.
It's always something. But, you know, I fought for him. I got him on the top 60 workout, and he played great. So I thought he should have had opportunity, but he didn't. Sean as well, man. Like I said, I don't do MVPs. I'm more of a, defensive rebounds, assist guy. What did you do in the classroom? I don't give out MVP awards. I don't give out scoring champions because I don't value it. Now, somebody got to score, right? I'm not saying that it's not a valuable thing. You got to score to win games, but I don't believe that that's what you should celebrate, right? So, Clay, Sean, those guys are all-stars, man. It should be 4.
Easy.
It should be 4. Zane deserved it, man, and I got a lot of flack online for saying that Zane dominated Flory in that championship game, but if you look at it, he did.
Did he? Okay,
he did.
Yeah, what we talking about?
Yeah, like, so they say, he had 19-11, but how many did he have on Zane?
Come on,
4?
Man. Come on.
You know, he blocked some shots, and he's a great kid. Now, I love Flory. If I had him at Ben Davis, we'd probably be 70 and going into this time next year. But Zane did his thing, man.
Didn't he?
He did his thing, and people don't want to give him credit for that. I really believe that if he's all-world, then Zane should be all-world too.
Come on, man.
If they got that home,
it's just like I said. I saw the growth in him, and I'm extremely proud of him. I don't even know the kid. I'm extremely proud of him.
If all those guys on their front row was there to see Flory, then they all should have recruited Zane after he did what he did. Flory got a majority of them points when Zane had to go to the bench when we were down 8 fouls to 0 in the third quarter.
Come on.
You know, so, I understand. He's a great kid. He runs. I ain't never saw a kid running like him outside of someone in the NBA, all-time great. So as dominant as he is, Zane did a great job on him, man.
Indeed.
Got to highlight Sheridan, man. Didn't have a great game offensively, but he had 9 assists, 3 steals, and 7 rebounds in the championship game. He had 1 point.
It's the little things.
You know what I mean? But that kid is so valuable, man. You never see him without a smile on his face. He's gonna guard the best player. And some of the things, like Mark Zachary took a lot of that off his table. Like this summer, Sheridan was no doubt dog defensively, dog offensively. Mark Zachary was able to guard Marcus Burton. We was able to put Sheridan on the second guy. And we always gonna have a great plan defensively, but a kid like that though, it's hard. Like Marcus Burton has the ball, his usage, we don't do usage in high school, but if we did, he probably had a 90% usage rate. And he's in attack mode 100% of that 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So I love the kid, man. I get to coach him in the All-Star game. I'm excited about that. But that kid, man, I would say Zane deserves Mr. Basketball because he went undefeated on what people don't talk about. The Sagarin had Penn's schedule tougher than ours. They had us number 2. And I said, well, the only reason they could have that is because they played us.
Played y'all.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. They was beating people by 60 and 70 points. There's no way they playing the same competition that we was playing. And just think about this. 9 of the first 11 games we played was on the road or neutral. And they were all ranked teams. Outside of Pike and Southport, which probably should have been ranked.
Right.
Early in the year. They got ranked after those games. But just think about it, man. We played number 1, number 2 about 3 times. We played number 3. We played number 8, 7. We played number 10. All in the first month, 2 months of the season.
Crazy.
And people don't really realize what we did. Then we went to the Hall of Fame and beat Penn. We played Cathedral, who was number 1. We played Kokomo in December. Like, we played everybody. We beat them all. First game of the season, we played Fishers. We ranked 2. They ranked 3. We played Zionsville the next day. They ranked like 8, we ranked 2.
Yes.
Then it never stopped. and we were undefeated.
Yeah.
Man, like I said, once you kind of sit down and think about the things that we were able to accomplish, man, it was great. I don't think they'll realize it until later on what they've done. And as coaches, man, we always working. So like I'm trying to figure out what my schedule gonna look like. What's next? How we gonna move this way? And like I told my guys, man, keep 2 feet on the ground, man, and make sure that you relish in it and understand that this stuff don't happen. And I told my coaches, man, who better than us, man? 5 years, we done been to the chip twice. It's some people that don't make it in 30 years. Mark James, who was the head coach of Ben Davis before me, his first time going to the state championship, they won in 2017. He had been coach for 30 plus years. Just like, man, this stuff don't happen all the time. So just understand, man, that we are the best ones out here. We do the best work. And this ain't me being arrogant, man. This is me bigging them up, man. My staff may do an excellent job, great job developing the kids. And as far as how we go about preparation, scouting reports and doing the things that we do, watching film, breaking stuff down, working with the kids. Corey Taylor, man, does a great job breaking film down and doing stuff with these guards. That's why you see them doing next level stuff, because he put a lot of work. The work that you saw with Zane, Courtney, I know I'm there too, but I got to give those guys the credit where the credit is due.
Courtney was a dog.
Courtney was a dog, man, and he put a lot of work in with Zane over these years. Tavion too, like I said, man, this next group, man. Sleep if y'all want to. That's fine. I want to be the underdog. Don't put me number 1. I think us being put number 2 this year was a great deal for these guys, man. Last year they were front runners, right? We last year we won 12 in a row in the middle of the season. We lost to North Central, which derailed our season. Last year we was the best team. In that run, we was beating people by 40. On average, probably like 35. We beat LN at LM by like 38.
And that don't happen.
It don't happen. This is before Kiefer retired. You know what I mean? Like we beat everybody bad. We was beating people down. And then we were up 20 in the first half against North Central. Some things that people don't know. Some JV kids got in a fight at halftime, and they went on a small run to end the second quarter. Then we just came out flat. Then got in a dog fight. If we get 1 rebound at the end of that game in overtime, the game is over. They get an offensive rebound, get fouled, hit 2 free throws, and we lose by 1. But after that, we lose to Decatur Central. We go to Center Grove and win 1 at the buzzer by 1. Then we have Carmel beat and lose that game. So our season just kind of
up and down.
Then we go beat Cathedral at Cathedral at the end of the year, and then we get beaten in the regionals. I think if we lose that game,
y'all beat them.
Then we beat them in the regionals, because that's just how our kids was built. I think they kind of relax when people start patting them on the back. They kind of front runners, but if people neglect them and say that they gonna lose, then they got a chip on their shoulder. So please have us like 10. You know what I mean? Rank us like 10 next year, man. I know a lot of people talking and chirping about who's great and who's the team to beat in the city next year. It's mad early. The season just left, but just finished. But at the same time, man, these kids, man, they work extremely hard. My staff works hard. 76-2 says a lot.
Does.
And there's another group, man. We just retooling, man. We not trying to replenish. We just retooling. So I'm proud of them. It's a great deal. To God be the glory.
To glory.
Today is Resurrection Sunday. You see, I got my stuff on. I'm gonna run to church when I get out of here. But man, I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Man, Coach, we appreciate you, man. Here at the Desire Is podcast, we just want to ultimately know, man, what is your desire?
My desire is just to, man, help kids. Really, I think that's what my purpose is. Like, I've been around the world. I ain't talk about that, but for free. My son is in Australia playing right now, so like there's a lot of things that I could be doing. right now and outside of coaching to make a lot more money, put myself in different positions. But this is what I love, and I'm gonna keep doing till God say so. Just go say do something different. So I'm always about helping my brothers, these kids, and that's what my desire is. My desire is to be a light in the darkness. So if I could do that, man, I know I'm doing the right thing.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach, man. We appreciate you, man. Good luck on defending y'all state championship.
Yes,
Remember, he said, don't rank him number one, y'all. But we just thank you, man, for being here. God bless you. God bless your program, and desires everything. Die.